Oh, hello everyone. This is me, Dusty Circuit, here to bring you another Kerbal Space Program video. And, well, before I announce what this mission's gonna be, I decided to just rebuild my colony that I built on Ovok because of I couldn't figure out how to solve the problem that I was having with it, so I decided I'm just gonna remake it using Kerbal constructs. Okay, so this is the new colony. And so to make this, I just placed these 3 launch pads here. And then I just placed all the other buildings in with Kerbal constructs. And I wasn't really going for a particular layout, just more to make it look interesting. And with a distinctive launch pad, I guess this would be like the vehicle assembly building and like other assembly areas. And this would be like fuel processing. And over here would be habitation. And I've had to raise the terrain quite a bit, just because it's just because Ovok just doesn't have like any perfectly flat areas anywhere, I've found. So it's just when I've had to do this, I created a map decal which alters the terrain. But well, this is my rebuilt colony. I was more just going to make it functional than to make it look nice, but I tried my best to make it look nice. And I would say, for being fairly inexperienced with Kerbal constructs, I'd say this turned out pretty well. I'm quite happy with it. Anyway, let's go to the VAB so I can talk about what the ship is I'm going to be using. Well, I actually think it's better to talk about what this mission actually is first, and since I've at this point been to all the 3, like, I guess satellite systems of the Kcalbeloh planet pack, like I've been to like everything in Sunork, everything in Malg, and everything in Allrak A I've been to. And that just leaves the 4 local Kcalbeloh system planets, which are, as you can see, are orbiting the supermassive black hole Kcalbeloh itself. And getting to these actually is really difficult because of the high delta V requirements due to them being so close, being really close to the black hole. Like their orbital speeds are so high that it actually takes a lot of delta V to not only get in orbit down to here, but to also circularize or around here. It takes especially a lot of delta V. And even like a minor like inclination change, like of a few degrees, but actually takes a few thousand meters per second to pull off. And I can imagine that that only gets worse as you get closer to actually getting closer to the black hole. And I plan to visit the planets in the order of the outermost to the innermost, which we're going to be starting with Uwe. This one that's kind of on this, like this diagonal and also kind of eccentric orbit. Just kind of like an icy, really thin atmosphere planet, but it has about 72% the gravity of Kerbin. And a really thin atmosphere, which is going to make landing on it pretty difficult, but I actually have a lander that I've specially designed to actually make use of the thin atmosphere to do all of the deceleration needed for landing, and I'll show you how that's going to be possible in a little bit. So anyway, here's the description. Feel free to pause if you want to read that. Though I initially planned this to just be an UEG mission, though I had a bit of a thought, well, why not we also go to Iomena as well, which is actually the first of the planets that are on flat equatorial orbits around the black hole. And this one is has less gravity and about 35% of Kerbin gravity and about 20% of Kerbin's atmosphere, which means landing here is going to be a lot easier than on Ueg. Feel free to read that description if you want. And as you can see, this planet actually has oceans that, according to the description, might actually be made of liquid ammonia, which is pretty interesting. I think also this is a really cold, like icy planet. And then further in from there are the planets Rokea and Arenfenai. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but those aren't the those are beyond the scope of this mission. That I think we'll be going to Rokea next mission, and then Arenfenai next mission after that. I was really looking forward to this part of my series, because like going to the inner part of the Kcalbeloh system is basically one of the most challenging destinations to go to, I guess, apart from going to an interstellar destination without wormholes. I guess it's pretty much up there with that. But anyway, let me show you the spaceship I'm gonna be using. Okay, so here it is. And I guess I'll try to explain what parts I used as quickly as I can, starting from the bottom. Those are launch clamps, like heavy-duty launch clamps from the Space Y mod that I kind of have been using for a lot of my rocket launches. And that is the main engine of this craft is that's this one, for Fresnel mirror cell fusion engine. And this one actually has different, like you can make it different lengths. And what that does is make it like more thrust and more ISP for specific impulse. And I believe I am using the biggest variant of it in this craft, and I am. And this engine uses it actually has two different modes. One where it's just using deuterium and helium-3, which is what the majority of these fuel tanks up here have, which are from the Sterling Tankage mod. And it also has an afterburning mode where it also uses liquid hydrogen in addition to the deuterium and helium-3 to provide more thrust, which is in the center core of this, which is like one of those octo girder trusses, which are from the near future construction mod, which I have set to a liquid hydrogen tank. And last minute I decided to add these spherical liquid hydrogen tanks to the bottom of each of these outer deuterium and helium-3 tanks. And these are just more deuterium and helium-3 fuel tanks I just decided to add last minute. And these are the stackable film radiators from the Sterling Systems mod. I think it's the Exotic Radiators mod. And these are electrothermal RCS thrusters, which are either from near future propulsion, or either near future propulsion or near future spacecraft. I'm not sure, but anyway, these use either lithium or hydrogen as the propellant, and that's why I'm using them, because this since the spacecraft is using liquid hydrogen propellant, so why not you also use that for RCS? This thing is a like a service bay module thing, which I have a bunch of RTGs in the outer portion of, and the inner portion is a configurable fuel tank, which I have set to serve as a liquid hydrogen tank, though it also holds monopropellant fuel as well. This piece is just a big battery from the Sterling Systems mod. And then this part is a remote guidance unit, which is from near future launch vehicles, which I'm using as like a big reaction wheel. And these radiators are the part of the new Roar radiators, which are recently added to Sterling Systems. And they would serve the purpose of providing cooling for all the cryogenic fuel tanks, but I've found that no amount of these radiators I add beyond a certain number of these tanks seems to cancel the boil off, so I've disabled that. But I guess we'll just pretend that these are serving that purpose. But anyway, going further up, we have a deployable centrifuge, which is from the near future. Well, it's from the stock-like station parts expansion. And this module, and that module are also from that mod. And I'm also using Clampotron Grandes, which I think are a size above the Clampotron Senior, which come with I think they come with the restock mod. I'm just using this to allow for if I decide to return to Kerbin with this craft, I have an option of detaching basically the whole ship, and then just have this pod only return to Kerbin. And this up here is the actual lander, which I have designed to land on Uleg. How I'm accomplishing that is with this deployable heat shield, which actually is going to serve as a giant air brake when we're entering Uleg's atmosphere, and as well as a bunch of these parachutes, which are going to kick in as soon as the lander slows down enough. And for the lander's propulsion, I'm using the Ouroboros toroidal fusion aerospike engine, more just for variety's sake than anything else. And I believe I used this engine on the gas giant diving mission going to Jewel, Sarnus, Erlum, and Naden in one mission. And the thing about these engines is they require liquid hydrogen, deuterium, and helium-3 as for propellant, and require radiator cooling, which I'm using these wrapper radiators for. And the majority of this lander is just liquid hydrogen fuel storage, and this is another Stirling tankage fuel tank, which holds the deuterium and helium-3 fuel, and just some RCS thrusters, monopropellant fuel, some stock radiators, because I'm also using the Convertotron and drills to refuel this thing once it's landed. And these giant landing legs are from they have a mod called Necrobones, or at least it's called that in the game. I think it's also known as Lithobrake Expansion, though I guess I'll edit in the name. But and well, the reason for this lander having two engines on each side like this is because I decided I wanted to also bring a rover with me on this mission, and the most logical place to put it was just the underside of the lander. And I have this kind of interesting mechanism for deploying the lander and retrieving it once they're landed on the surface of the planets. And it's with this piston, which is going to extend to bring this lander down to the surface, and then it'll undock from that. And that piston will also serve in retrieving the lander as well. And this whole structure is actually going to fall away, like with all the struts and like with all the girders, is going to fall away once the lander is detached from the mothership. And also this heat shield will detach, leaving behind another docking port which the lander can use to redock with the mothership once it's actually taken off from its first landing. And I plan to send this to Uleg first, which is the harder of the two planets to land on for this mission. And then once it's spent, once that heat shield is detached and the parachutes have been used, I could actually land this thing on Iomena, which is the easier of the two planets to land on. And these fancy-looking struts or girders are from the procedural parts mod, as well as the fuel tanks I've used to make the lander. And because we're actually going to be launching this thing from Ovok's gravity, we actually do not need I don't need to have booster rockets on this thing, because Ovok's gravity is so low that even the small amount of thrust from the main engine is actually going to be enough to lift this off of Ovok. But I guess without further ado, let's launch. Okay, just need to charge up our main engine and start it. And I guess I can deploy the centrifuge while we're at it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. It doesn't look like we're moving all that fast, but I believe we're already on escape from Ovok. And there goes us leaving. I guess I can take you on a quick tour of the inside of the spaceship. This is like the main command module. Looks like there's nothing that way. I think this is that habitation module. This is that observation module. And then here is the centrifuge. This is one of the arms of the centrifuge. Like it has like gym and like sleeping areas. And there's Ovok back there. It's pretty cool. Here's inside another arm. And I just kind of realized doing this, actually it's the shift key that allows you to actually climb up ladders. And of course getting out of the... Seems like getting out of this is a little difficult. You know, there's the ladders like over there, and it's hard to get over there. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna I'll just stop the rotation. Oh, you've been inside there. Yeah. That goes nowhere. So we've been through... So, not my biggest spaceship, but it's got quite a few different areas to it. And our next stop is the wormhole to the Kcalbeloh system. Okay, now I have this bug where it's like that keeps changing my orbit, so I'm gonna have to go to a tracking station really quick. Okay, there we go. Oh, and by the way, I have my settings for distant object enhancement, I've changed the skybox brightness, so like normally it dims the skybox out like the further away you are from either Kerbal or the star of any system you're near, but I have it that feature kind of turned off just so. Because in a lot of my Kcalbeloh videos, like the wormhole is barely even visible, or now it's actually a lot more visible. And I can just see the wormhole actually in the distance there. And here we are in the Kcalbeloh system. And there's Sarah. And I guess now we're off to leave the Sunark system and then plan our maneuver towards Kcalbeloh. Hey, so this is going to be a bit of an interesting maneuver we're going to be doing next, because we have to both change our inclination and lower our periapsis, which I'll try to do in one burn. But you can tell even way out here, like we're pretty far away from the black hole, and it's like we're still having to use like 10,000 meters per second just to do this. Yeah, that should be a decent maneuver. Wow, look at that delta V number that's going to be needed to pull this off. Good thing I have like 400, still have 400,000 years per second of delta V in my ship. And now we get to watch as we drift closer. As we drift closer to the Kcalbeloh, even closer than we've been in the last mission. And there goes the Sun Arc system. And there's Allrack out there. Oh, and there's the planets around Kcalbeloh you can see whizzing around with the distant object enhancement. And there's Kcalbeloh and all of its supermassive black hole glory. Though now we're completely edge on with the accretion disk, so we can't really see much of it anymore. Okay, this is just going to be a circularization burn. So we're just going to circularize around our current periapsis, and then we're going to go in for a final encounter with Ulang. And so far, that's how much fuel we've used in this mission. Not a whole lot. Though changing our inclination to match Iomena is going to burn up a ton of fuel, though. So I have to think about that if we want to do that. Gotta make sure we have enough fuel to return home. I think I'll go with this. I'm gonna try to zero out that node, and then we will go around for a capture. And just that burn that I just did, or that maneuver I just did, is gonna be like over 4 kilometers per second. Yes, we're pretty close into the black hole at this point. Okay, this is view from inside the spaceship of Kcalbeloh. Looks pretty cool. As I thought, we may need to do a, I may actually have to start doing this burn before we enter the actual sphere of influence of the planet. Okay, now that the orbital line is starting to curve is a good sign. It means we've slowed down sufficiently enough that the planet's gravity is now affecting our trajectory. I want to slow down a little more than that. Hey, that should be manageable. Oh, and there's Ulang out there. Yeah, I may have started this a little bit late. Okay, we have made it into orbit around Ulang. Actually, I think I want to change my orbit a little bit. Because I'm kind of aiming for like those canyons to land in. Okay, we're now in a nice and low orbit for our landing. Okay, I think we're ready to actually land. Okay, now we're getting to the atmospheric entry. Yeah, we can see, yeah, as you can see, that giant heat shield is already slowing us down. Like even in the upper atmosphere here. Okay, parachutes are armed. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, it still looks like I need help from the engines to slow down, but that's not a big deal. And we made a successful landing. Wow. Oh, I guess that was our heat shield crashing into the surface. But here we go. Guess let's do our first EVA now. Well, what's exploding? Well, probably that. Definitely a really and rather interesting planet this is. Kind of like the vibe it has. I don't know, maybe we'll fast forward a bit until Kcalbeloh is a little lower in the sky. Oh, though it's moving up, not from our perspective, never mind. Guess we could try go for a bit of a drive in our rover. I mean, driving might be a little difficult because of the, all the ground scatter, but I'll make an effort at it. I don't know, I might turn off the collisions just because this is so annoying. So I was just curious what debris that was, but was that like dropped from our lander? Okay, I think I'll just turn off scatter collisions, so just give me a moment to do that. Okay, now back with, at least hopefully with the collision level reduced. Oh, I am still stuck on this rock. Okay. Well, I'm finally off that stupid rock. Yes, let's get driving. Okay, this is what inside of the lander can looks like. I feel like maybe ending this video here, and then the next video will be me taking off, re-rendezvousing with the mothership, and then going to the other planet. But thank you for watching. If you liked what you this has been me, Dusty Circuit, here with another Kerbal Space Program video. If you liked what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to see my next video, just hit the bell for notifications. And peace out. Bye.